Good afternoon. Welcome to the Mount Angel Theater Studio, otherwise known as Matt's. I'm so glad you're joining me today. I'm going to make sure the auto scene switcher is working. There it is. So I will enter said scene. Good morning and afternoon, everybody. Let me get this out. I'm going to just stick with this one today. See if I can cut back on the noise inherent in the audio extravaganza that is the systems in the historic Mount Angel Theater. Good afternoon. My name is Jon Deshler. You can look me up. I am a globally published photographer, a working musician, a filmmaker, an educator, and the vice president of the Oregon Substitute Teacher Association. And I'm coming to you from beautiful downtown Mount Angel, Oregon, which lies between Portland and Salem, just east of the freeway I-5, which is where the major concentration of populations are, dense populations in Oregon, which is almost an oxymoron because there's only 4.5 million people in Oregon. And I'm coming to you today on August 15th, 2024. After doing much testing and planning and prepping for both this effort of live streaming from this humble 100-seat theater, as well as planning for the theater for the 2024 Mount Angel Oktoberfest. And I thought I would just get on here today and do a relatively quick stream, solo. Rapidly approaching the end of my solo testing live streams. As next week I hope to bring in my first guest. Not exactly who that will be, because I've got a number of people that I'm talking to, so it'll just come down to logistical dynamics of availability, etc. I intend to bring some of my fellow OSTA board members in here, including the founding member, Phyllis Kirkwood, founded the Oregon Substitute Teacher Association in the early 1970s, and she blessedly is still with us, and we appreciate her very much. I just performed Tuesday night at the second live performance production of Oliver the Musical at Salem's downtown Riverfront Park at the new Jerry Frank Amphitheater. We had an audience of, I would say, an estimate between about 450 and 600 people this last Tuesday night, and I'm pretty sure everybody loved it and enjoyed it based on the reviews, the personal reviews and reflections that I've already received from folks. We will be doing that show 2 more times this month, 2 more Tuesdays. It's a performance schedule of every Tuesday in August, which is generally speaking in the Willamette Valley a safe outdoor schedule. Very excellent singers, performers, musicians, and that's why I want to mention it. I'm kind of a lifelong arts person, and I am here in my 60s attempting to bring all of that together in another unique way with this live stream and this humble 100-seat space. So that's what's going on. I'm going to be talking about art, our large, big, fat, evolved human powerful brains, and inspiration. So that's pretty much what I'm about, are those three things. With an emphasis, of course, on music and sophisticated music and the trumpet, the brass family, and photography, jazz, of course, and education. It's all about education, because we've been designed to be educated with our high sensory perception, born from our eyes and our ears and our noses and our mouths and our fingers. So these are some of the things that I'm going to want to address and explore and discuss with other intelligent folks moving forward in this live stream effort. So just to remind you all, this building was kind of saved and nurtured the last 40 plus years by my dear friend Stu Rasmussen. That high-heeled zebra shoe back there was Stu's. He was fairly well known for being the first openly transgendered mayor in the country. And he was mayor of nearby Silverton, Oregon, just 4 miles away. And he was on the city council, and he owned and operated the concession of the Palace Movie Theater for over 50 years with his longtime friend Roger Paulson. Both of those guys were my friends for most of the last 15 years prior to both of their passings. And they both wanted me to take over this space and see if I could keep it as a viable arts space in this humble little historic old town of 3,500. So forgive me for checking my phone. I'm going to use it to reference certain things. For example, let's just go there now. The rather robust performance and movie playing schedule that I'm in the midst of finalizing for the 2024 Oktoberfest. I will have various films playing off and on, including An Oregon Story, which was made by some local people about the history of land use planning in Oregon, and it's really a very good film, well done, and comprehensively covers the history and kind of the categorization dynamics of what it means to have land use planning, something that Oregon used to be anyways very famous for. So that's a recently completed film by my friends Joe Wilson and Jim Gilbert, and I'll have that playing in its long form at least once, possibly twice, which is 80 minutes long, and short form once or twice as well. Now, what I need to do while I'm doing this, and I need to start getting good at this, is I need to go to my Mount Angel Theater Studio YouTube page, go to live, go to this number 9 live stream, turn down the volume, and try to grab, welcome to chat, remember to guard your privacy, the link to the stream, which I just did, and now I'm going to post it right now. Like this, live. Not that these things are as much about the live dynamic as they are about the life they can live on the YouTube page forever after. So I've got 158 followers, at the Mount Angel Theater. That's impressive to me. I find that interesting. All right, I'm going to do this now. Share. So I guess saved it and shared it to YouTube. That is to say the link, to Facebook. And that is to say I just shared the link. I can kill that now. To the live stream, which I've already started. It's a lot to keep track of, folks. My goodness. So I want to go back to the Oktoberfest. I'm just going to cover it broadly. I don't need to read you the final schedule yet. I'm in the process of finalizing the actual formal schedule. I've got lots of people participating, though, and supporting and helping me in this effort for the 2024 Oktoberfest. So to begin with is that film, Ann Oregon Story. Very good film. I watched it the other day. And you can go to annoregonstory.com or org, I believe, and find it if you're interested right now. So that's number one. I've got an associate in Silverton who started the Silver Falls Film Festival, who I believe is going to bring me some films. I need to finalize that in the next couple days. Probably shorts. And that'll be fun because these are all, humbly made films. Some with no budgets, some with small budgets, etc., etc. I will be showing my Mount Angel history film. It's about 15 minutes long. And a few of my Tune Tours videos. So that's the summation of the film cinema dynamics. And the screen is right behind this painting. I'll talk all about that a little bit more in a few minutes. I will have PLC, Portland Lesbian Choir, on Saturday, the 14th at 1 p.m., I believe, performing. I will have Sean Shim, a local sleep doctor who's, according to what I've already heard, a very excellent opera singer, singing the likes of Puccini with piano accompaniment. He'll be on Saturday. I will have our local illustrious classical pianist, Mr. Juan Olasalan, now a student at George Fox University, a graduate of Mount Angel High School, coming in, I believe, Saturday night as well at 5 to perform some sophisticated Chopin, Beethoven, Rachmaninoff type of repertoire. I will have the First Congregational United Church of Christ Choir from Portland coming down and performing at 4 o'clock on Saturday. I will have my Tune Tours groups performing off and on, so most plausibly Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Stay tuned for the final schedule. Mr. Merrick Woods Harris, a fine musician and composer, will come in on Sunday the 15th and perform live original piano sonatas. And I'm in the process of solidifying a new brass quartet or quintet out of the pit orchestra musicians from the Oliver production, downtown Salem, cultivating that group as we speak. At least, hopefully, 2 trumpets, 1 French horn, and 1 trombone or bass trombone, possibly tuba as well, performing a wide array of material as well on Sunday the 15th. So that's an overview of the performance-based people and movies that I will be showing and presenting during the 2024 Oktoberfest. That would be Thursday, September 12th through Sunday, September 15th. If you're curious as to why the Oktoberfest is in September, you're going to have to ask somebody else. I have a feeling it has to do with the weather in the Willamette Valley. I'm not sure what goes on in Germany in that endeavor. I need to say that one of the things I'm doing with this particular live stream is testing the volumes. I've been having a little bit of a slow uptake on my ability to provide, control, and adjust good volumes in this live streaming process as I repurpose lots of old equipment to pull this off. Something I've been working on now for about 2 months, fairly consistently, off and on. And it's kind of coming together. We still need to get our systems together to be able to reasonably produce good live audio as well as good broadcast audio for a band or a musical group. And that's going to determine this next week or so, when we get to that experimentation, whether or not I live stream from here during the Oktoberfest, another very interesting and provocative notion. So that's the Oktoberfest agenda. This building and space is available for private movie watching parties. You pay me, we negotiate, you pay me, you bring in your 50 to 80 friends and family and your favorite DVD, pop, pizzas, food, wine, whatever you like, and enjoy a very intimate evening in really a space that is just a little bit larger than maybe 2 or 3 times larger than the average living room. So it's a very intimate space. I have the ability to show movies, videos, do live performance. I think I'm going to begin, it's a little late for the Oktoberfest, but I'm going to begin to look into Portland-based theater groups, see who might be willing to send down abridged versions of productions that they've put on up in the metropolitan area to bring down here to the rural area. The Mount Angel Theater studio and Mount Angel itself resides approximately 40 miles south of downtown Portland and about 20 miles northeast of downtown Salem, Oregon, which is the capital of the state, Portland being the financial center. The dynamic that I'm trying to bring together here is a bit of mixing of the nearby urban centers with the local rural towns. Mount Angel is a town of 3,500, as I mentioned. Nearby Woodburn, Silverton, Scotts Mills, Molalla, Canby. These are all towns of various sizes, between about 1,000 and about 25,000. They're all within about 10 to 15 miles at most from downtown Mount Angel. Mount Angel is famous for 2 things. Supposedly the largest Oktoberfest this side of the Rockies and or the Mississippi. Plausibly, I suppose, in the whole country. And the world-famous Benedictine Catholic Abbey, the Mount Angel Abbey, a college where Catholic Benedictine monks and priests teach and educate monks and priests to be for the Catholic Church. It's a glorious geographical spot, a little hill right adjacent to town, which is removed from the foothills of the Cascades by about 5 miles in the Willamette Valley, a very fertile valley globally, renowned as a fertile valley. We've got wineries, the Wooden Shoe Tulip Farm nearby, and wineries, and all kinds of spectacular geological and geographic wonders, if you will. I mean, it's certainly a wonder to go over there and see all the tulips blooming in the spring at the Wooden Shoe Tulip Bulb Farm. And then, of course, on the other side of Silverton, which is 4 miles away, is the very famous Silver Falls State Park. And then we have the Mount Angel Abbey if you come to Mount Angel ever, I encourage you to visit the Abbey. You don't have to be Catholic. You just have to be a human being to go up there and appreciate the vast history that is represented by that space, and many other incredible things, not the least of which is the Catholic Church. A beautiful church with two incredibly beautiful and dynamic organs. I believe the monks still chant every day up there. There's a little museum up there, a renowned architect-built library with significant global collections, and a retreat house that I believe has over 65 rooms that are available on a nightly basis for anyone who reserves them. They do not have TVs in those rooms, but apparently they do have a 5-star chef cooking for everybody in that retreat house up there. More about all of that later, but I do encourage you to visit and check out all of these nearby treasures. There's also a wonderful model train museum / shop in the old train depot right downtown Mount Angel. It's open on Fridays, middays, I think for about 5 or 6 hours. And that's just all the tip of the iceberg of the local area. So when you get a chance, come on down and discover Mount Angel. And if I'm around, look me up. My name's Jon Deshler. You can ask for me or call me or email me, and I'd be happy to show you the little theater, some of my photography archives. I did start out as a teenage jazz photographer and trumpet student in the San Fernando Valley in the 1970s. I have a historic archive of jazz pictures that I began to shoot when I was 14 years old, now almost 50 years ago. That includes the likes of Count Basie, Joe Williams, Chet Baker, Peggy Lee, Freddie Hubbard, Bill Watrous, Maynard Ferguson, Pete Chrislieb, and so many more important musicians, particularly of the 20th century. A collection I began at 14 years old in 1977 and fortified over 7 years back then till I was 21, shooting over 40 live performances in and around Los Angeles on a shoestring paper route budget on 35mm Tri-X film most often. And that collection I have continued to gingerly add to over the years when time and opportunity allowed. In the last few years, I've added infamous Ron Carter, bassist. Shot him at Birdland in New York City about 3 years ago, possibly. Eddie Daniels, very famous, excellent, extraordinary clarinetist and saxophonist. Shot him at Western Oregon University in Monmouth in the last few years. Of course, Wynton Marsalis sing jazz at Lincoln Center. I shot at the Schnitzer Concert Hall downtown Portland in the last 7 years, I'm going to say. It's hard to keep up with all of these dates as one continues to get older. So some of those pictures are always on display here. I also have some of my commercial work and editorial work on display. And I may be having another local, well-published photographer putting up some pictures here for the Oktoberfest as well. So, 2 more Tuesdays of Oliver, downtown Salem, at the beautiful Jerry Frank Amphitheater at the Riverfront Park. Myself and my illustrious Tune Tours partner, Mr. Neil Grandstaff, will be at the Cardwell Hill Cellars Winery just outside of Philomath tomorrow night I believe that's 6 to 8 or approximately that timing. Absolutely beautiful location. And I believe the wine is pretty good too. I'm not much of a wine drinker myself. So we played there many times before, and we look forward to it yet again. Neil and I created Tune Tours together, which was our response to the COVID advent when everybody was trying to stay indoors and protected and from safe distances. We went outdoors and continued to play our music, despite the fact that all of our gigs, our steady Friday night in Old Town Portland at Hobo's, all ended. And Hobo's, which was a long-standing supper club in Old Town Portland, of course, now is closed permanently, sadly. Another byproduct of the COVID experience. And historically, the meeting place for the infamous Portland-Shanghai tunnel tours, ironically. So Neil and I went out and started performing outdoors. Later, Justin Shepage, one of our wonderful bass players, joined us. And then my son, my oldest son, Nate Deshler, joined us that first summer and the second summer, but the first summer of 2020. And ironically, we put a big upright piano in my pickup truck and played all over the state. You can find those Tune Tour videos, which became quite an extravagant, self-perpetuated endeavor, on my YouTube page. Just go to YouTube and search Tune Tours, or look up me, Jon Deshler. That's JONDESHLER. And I basically have gifted everyone a free tour of Oregon, everywhere from the Alvord Desert to the Astoria, a column, which is about as far as you can get away from each other in Oregon. That would be the northwest corner to the southeast corner of the state of Oregon, a rather large state with a very modest population. So I'm here in Stu's converted theater studio space because he wanted me to be here. Made it almost impossible for me to say no in taking over this space. And so that's what I've done. We do live music. I do private movie watching parties, and now live streaming, and a robust Oktoberfest schedule of programming. Not to omit anything that I've tried to cover in all of these tests, this incredible painting behind me is called Chaya. It was done by my dear friend John Simpkins, a lifelong artist painter. John lived for 10 years in the ghost town of Andrews at the edge of the Alvord Desert and the Steen Mountains for about 10 years. And this particular painting was painted at the Churchill School in Baker City, Oregon. It's on canvas, it's hand painted, it's acrylic. And it's just really spectacular. The craftsmanship, the composition, the utilization of materials. You might notice that, of course, Chaya is John's poodle, his current poodle. There's John laying on the back of his poodle, symbolically indicating a very close relationship, one might mention, one might perceive, very obviously. And the two of them, actually his previous poodle and ultimately Chaya, were the two that lived out there in the ghost town of Andrews. And Nate and I visited them with Theo, my big St. Bernard, most lovable and smartest dog I ever had, in that summer of 2020 with the piano in the back of the pickup truck. And we performed for them in the ghost town. Nate and I, my son, and my dog, Theo, visited John and his dog, Chaya. and played him a few tunes that summer because it was such a novel summer of everybody trying to figure out what was going on with this COVID advent. Down here, lower right, you can see John's house. It was the school teacher's house, and then he painted. His studio was in the actual schoolhouse. He's got a bicycle list here, the ship, the Twin Towers. It's kind of a treatise or a statement, if you will, of modern life in a very fantastic setting and somewhat abstract. But he's got the sun, he's got ocean waves, he's got rainbows, he's got Mother Nature represented by birds and other sundry things, and modernity with jet airplanes and the Twin Towers and mountains. And it's just really spectacular. And Jon gave me custody of the painting essentially when he decided to relocate after decades in Oregon to one of the Amana colonies in Iowa, where he's having a really good time in this old granary building that he's moved into. And I just spoke with him in this last week, and he's having a heck of a good time gardening in a very fertile landscape that is Iowa, and I'm very happy for him for that. He grew up in the wine country Napa of Northern California, but lived a lot in Central and Eastern Oregon as an adult and never got to have a really great garden. But this year, I know he has a great garden because he told me, and we both enjoy and revel in Mother Nature. So that's been good for his soul and my soul. I just harvested my first ripe tomato yesterday. In the last month, I harvested 6 gallons of Santa Rosa plums and froze them. And I've got a lot of tomatoes, corn, and cucumbers coming on, apples, pears, and grapes. So that's what we do. One of the things we do out here in the rural parts of Oregon. So that's one of the things that Jon and I share. Let's see if there's any real-time interaction here I need to follow up with. Well, I don't know. Let's see. So if you ever come down here, I will do my best to share the painting and my photography and try to inspire folks, because that's what I'm about. That's what this space is about. And that's kind of how I've lived my life, as I've pursued inspiration. I've tried to provide inspiration. I grew up listening to some of the best musicians in the world performing regularly, and I think that kind of made me who and what I am at this point, to some extent. In any case, the Mount Angel Theater Studio.com, actually mountangeltheaterstudio.com, MTANGELTHEATERSTUDIO.com takes you to my website for the theater studio. And as I said, these live streams are going to come to you from my auxiliary YouTube page, which is Mount Angel Theater Studio YouTube page. But you can see my Tune Tour video series on my YouTube page, which is just Jon Deshler. So come on out tomorrow night to Cardwell Hill Cellars in Philomath, outside of Philomath if you can, just at the south entrance of the Kings Valley, which is just a little bit away from the Willamette Valley. And then look us up for Oliver, 2 more performances on 2 Tuesdays in August this year. And then look for us next month for the robust programming at the Mount Angel Theater Studio for the 2024 Mount Angel Oktoberfest. So I think that's it. This is a little bit of a commercial, a little bit of an introduction. Next week, I hope to do an actual live stream with a human guest and I'm hoping some people will join us. I've tried to design this in such a way that I can do it all by myself if I need to. And what I mean by that is produce it all by myself, run it, start it, keep it going, which is what this has been practice for, right? Because I'm doing all of that while I'm also speaking to you all. So it's the advent of the multiple cameras and the microphones and the auto scene switcher plug-in that is allowing me to do all of this today and heretofore. And I think it's going to be a worthwhile endeavor once I really get it rolling. And again, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, visit. I hope to have live audiences in here sometime soon when I'm live streaming, particularly if it's music or anything more entertainment oriented versus education oriented, because those are going to be primarily the two things, the two subsections of live streaming fodder that I'm going to bring to this station or page. You can imagine at 61 trying to learn and put together all this technology in a little old town. It's been fun, it's been funny, it's been sad, it's been tragic, but it's always been entertaining and interesting. So as long as I make steady little incremental bits of progress in the right directions, I will keep it up. I had to spend a half an hour this morning working on a door latch to one of the bathrooms. So I'm literally doing anything and everything that needs to be done here in an attempt to make this a vital or a vibrant or a, what's the word I'm looking for? No, neither one of those was the one I was originally looking for. Viable, thank you. I knew it was another V word. Option for the space and for the town and for the promotion of mindful, sophisticated cultivation of thought and brains in the state of Oregon and in the whole world, folks. So that's what this particular endeavor is allowing me to consider, and who knows what's going to happen next. But please stay tuned. Please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, share, subscribe, and if nothing else, at the very least, check back and check on my progress, because I'm going to just be an open book with all of this. My whole life I've been accused of wearing my heart on my sleeve, and I would submit to you that that's been an asset more than a detriment. And that's why I'm doing this. I'm just going to keep it up. I believe in authenticity, honesty, transparency, and thoughtfulness, sensitivity, sensibility, and human beings doing better. That's really what I'm going to try to be nurturing here at the Mount Angel Theater Studio, otherwise known as MATS. We might have a couple of pleasant surprises during the Oktoberfest that I can't mention yet because I don't know, but for sure. But that's possible and plausible. And again, I will be live streaming, I think, moving forward at least twice a week. I'm not going to commit to a specific schedule because I've heard and I believe that that would lead to an oppressive dynamic that would be very difficult to maintain and probably untenable. The best advice I heard on this subject was from Rick Beato. Look him up, particularly if you're interested in music at all. And I think he said it, I'm not going to quote him exactly, but his point was you should do it when you feel like doing it, because it's a very abstract endeavor. that I'm sitting here talking to nobody while I'm potentially talking to everybody. So at the moment, it's all in my mind's eye, but at the same time, it's going to the World Wide Web. So please support and visit Mount Angel, Oregon. All right, folks. Thank you very much. I'm going to sign off. I got to go over here and turn off the live stream all by myself. So here I am at the control center station. You can see me a little bit on that camera 3. By the way, that waterfall is called the Abaquaw Falls. That picture was a scan that I did of about 400 images over the course of 2 hours, and then I came back and put them together in Photoshop. And it's one of our beautiful local waterfalls. So thanks again for being here. And please like and thumbs up and subscribe and be in touch. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everybody. Thank you.